Now that you've learned how to get into the software, you want to be able to learn how to use some of the basics. So let's start off with finding a location. So my high school is at 535 Lake Street. So I'm just going to type it into this search bar here, 535 Lake Street, St. Catharines. And as I start typing, it should come up. So I can click on that. And there's my high school. And I can add a marker to indicate where that is located by simply clicking on Add to Map Notes. And um, if that marker, if I accidentally close that little pop-up box, I can simply click on the search again, and I can click on Add to Map Notes to put it back on there. So that's finding a location. So students love finding their own house, and I'm using the imagery with hybrid. There are all sorts of different base maps that I can use. I can use, for instance, the streets version, so easier for navigation. There's the terrain model, not so exciting in a flat place like St. Catharines, but there's all sorts of base maps that you can use depending on the purpose that you're going to be using that map for. So for now, I'm going to use imagery with hybrid. So if I want to measure, for instance, the distance from, for instance, our school down to Port Dalhousie, to the Lakeside Park here, I can use the measure tool by clicking on measure, and then there are three different options here. I'm going to start off with straight line distance, and we're going to work with kilometers. So I'll just single click on my school, and then I'll drag it over to, well, actually, I don't have to hold down the mouse button. I just simply single click here, and then I go to my destination, and you can see that 1.79 kilometers is the distance. I can double click and end it, and now I'm free to move the mouse around. If I would like to, for instance, calculate the area of the school property, I can click on the area tool. And for instance, maybe I want to do it in acres. So I can single click my way around the school property, and then, well, it looks like I'm including the Catholic school here, and then double click at the end, and it'll tell me how many acres the total property is. Finally, if I would like to find my latitude and longitude, I can just simply click on the location, and it gives me the latitude and longitude. It's very important that you teach your students how to save their work, because this is not going to be like a Google document where it automatically saves. There are different components of ArcGIS that has an automatic saving component, but we're working with what we call a web map right now, and it does not automatically save. This can be both a blessing and a curse. So I tell my students that they should always just simply click on Save, and never use the Save As function. The reason why I suggest not to use the Save As function, simply if it's the first time that you're using the software, or the first time that you're saving the map, it's going to automatically ask you to give it a title anyway. So for instance, I'm going to call this practice map. And if you created file folders, you might be inclined to put it into a file folder. For the students, since they're only going to make maybe 4 or 5 maps in a given year, it's probably not so important to create file folders. You can also create a tag. So for instance, if I were mapping out earthquakes, I might want to put a tag in there so that if I were searching through hundreds of maps, I would be able to quickly find this map because it's associated with earthquakes. But once again, you don't really have to put a tag in there. So for now, I'm just going to click Save. And if I wanted to get into this map at a later date, and I've logged into ArcGIS, instead of going to Map to create a new map, if I want to access a map that I've already created, I would simply click on Content, and I would take a look in here. And if for whatever reason it's not appearing, you might want to just click on All My Content. Sometimes it's hidden in a folder. But if you click on all your content, everything will appear, and then you can simply click on the map title, and then I just click on the uh, little thumbnail here to open up the map. Now, ArcGIS does give you an option of using this new map viewer. I'm using the older version, so all of my instructions will be given using the classic view, but there is a newer view which I can explore in a later lesson that looks different. All right, so if yours looks like this, you're not using the classic view, and you can just simply change it back to the classic view by clicking on that.